Hello and welcome to my channel. In this tutorial we're gonna do this stitch. It's a very easy stitch. The stitch is reversible, front and back is the same. You can do a scarf, a blanket, cardigan, whatever you like to do. The stitch works with multiples of 3. So I chain here multiples of 3. I have 18. But I think it's best if you chain multiples of 3 with even number. Yeah, so you can chain 24 or whatever, some even number that will be at the end. Yeah, so I have here 18. I'm gonna skip the first 2 chains from the hook, so 1 2, and in the third chain from the hook I'm gonna go in there and we're gonna do 2 double crochet. So 1, go back again for the second, and now this is the sequence. We're gonna skip until we finish this row. I'm gonna skip the first 2 chains, the next 2 chains, and in the third chain we're gonna do in there 3 double crochets. It's like the granny stitch, the first row. So you go back again and do 2 more double crochets. So we're gonna do like this until we finish this row. We're gonna skip the next 2 chains, and in the third we're gonna place in there 3 double crochets. So 1 2 and 3, and we're gonna do like this. Skip the next 2 chains, and in the third 3 double crochets. Okay, skip the next 2 chains, and in the third 3 double crochets, and you're gonna be left with 3 chains. So 1 2 and the third one. So you're gonna skip the next 2 chains, and in the last one, the third, we're gonna do 3 double crochets. So 1, I'm using 3.0 millimeter crochet hook with this yarn, but I think this yarn, if I remember correctly, recommends that I should use 2.5, so I'm using 3.0 right now. So we're gonna chain 3. You're always gonna chain 3 at the end. Turn your work, yarn over the hook. So the first cluster of double crochets here, we're gonna skip the first double crochet, the second, and into the third we're gonna do 3 front post double crochet. So 1, go back again and do the second front post double crochet, and the third front post double crochet, and we're gonna alternate like this until we finish the row. So the next cluster of double crochet, we're gonna skip the first double crochet, and into the second, the one in the middle, on top there through the stitch, we're gonna place in there 3 double crochets. So 1 2 and 3. So the next cluster of double crochet, we're gonna skip the first 2 double crochet, and into the last from this cluster, the third one, we're gonna place in there 3 front post double crochet. So 1, go back again for the second, and the third. Well, I think this stitch you can use any yarn size you like. So the next cluster, we're gonna skip the first double crochet, and into the second on top we're gonna do 3 double crochets in there. So 1 2 and 3. The next cluster, we're gonna skip the first 2 double crochet, and into the third, the last one from this cluster, we're gonna do 3 front post double crochet. You go back for the second front post double crochet, and then the third. So now the last cluster from this row we have the 2 double crochet and the chain. So we're gonna skip the first double crochet from this cluster, and into the second I'm gonna go in there on top through the stitch. We're gonna do 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3, chain 3, turn your work. So what you're gonna do, the first cluster right here, we're gonna yarn over the hook, we're gonna skip the first 2 double crochets, and in the third one we're gonna do front post double crochet, 3 of them. So 1, go back for the second, front post double crochet, and the third one. So the next cluster of double crochet we're gonna alternate like this until we finish this row. So we skip the first one, and into the second on top right there through the stitch 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. The next cluster we're gonna skip the first 2 double crochet, and into the third 3 front post double crochets. And the third one, you're gonna move to the next cluster of double crochet, and on top the third, the one in the middle, skip the first, and into the second, the one in the middle, we're gonna do 3 double crochets in there. And the third one, and the next cluster is gonna be the front post double crochet into the last double crochet from that cluster. So 1, 2 and the third. And now we reach the end, we have the last cluster of double crochets. So we're gonna go on top, the second one on top, and we're gonna place in there 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. Yarn over the hook, we have the chain 3. So on top of the chain 3, right there on top, we're gonna do a double crochet, and this is gonna be how you're gonna finish from this moment on. From this moment forward, this is how you're gonna finish the row, with double crochet into the top third chain. Yeah, so you're gonna chain 3, turn your work, it's gonna look like this. So now you're gonna repeat. Yeah, yarn over the hook, the first cluster of double crochets, we're gonna skip the first, the second, and into the third we're gonna place in there 3 front post double crochet. So 1, go back again for the second and the third, and we're gonna alternate like this, like the previous rows. So the next cluster we're gonna go on top, the second one from the next cluster, and we're gonna place in there 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. And again, the next cluster, the last one, the last double crochet, we're gonna place in there 3 front post double crochet. So 1, 2 and the third front post double crochet. So the next cluster is gonna be the one in the middle, the double crochet, the second one on top there through the stitch, we're gonna place in there 3 double crochets. So this is the stitch you're gonna do like this. Yeah? So the next cluster we're gonna do the front post double crochet into the third double crochet, so 3 front post double crochet into the last double crochet of that cluster. And now we reach the end, we have the last cluster of double crochet, so we're going to skip the first one and into the second, the one in the middle, 3 double crochets in there, and this is it. And at the end, you, like I said, you're going to finish with a double crochet at the end into the first, second, and this is the third chain. You're going to go on top of the third third chain, and you're gonna do a double crochet. You're gonna chain 3, and you're gonna repeat the same row over and over again. Yeah. So the first cluster is here. You skip the first 2 double crochets, and into the third you're gonna do a front post, 3 front post double crochet. Then you're gonna move to the next cluster. So you're gonna skip the first double crochet, and into the second on top 3 double crochets. Then the next cluster, it's the last 1 double crochet here from the cluster, 3 front post, and then on top 3 double crochet, front post, and you have on top here the last cluster, 3 double crochet, and you have the chain 3 here, which you're gonna do a double crochet into the top third chain, chain 3, and you're gonna repeat again. Yeah, this is a very thin yarn, let's say. Well, it's thin. This one it's a little bit thicker, so for this I use 3.0 millimeter crochet hook. So this is the stitch. So it's reversible. If you like, you can do this, or you can do it with the thinner. You can try with the thicker. Yeah, it's up to you. You choose how to do it. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.